Alright, guys, another review. Shannon, what are we reviewing today?
We are going to talk about Turning Red, which is a story of female puberty and girls and their changing bodies. And I think we're going to have a really fun, hour and a half long discussion about it with you guys. And
I'm sorry, what?
What's the problem?
What do you mean? What do you mean?
We're going to talk about girls and puberty and
periods?
Yeah. And all the details that you've ever wanted to know, but we're afraid to ask. And
I'm out. I think Stephanie's calling me, so I should...
Your phone is recording, Fahad. It's in airplane mode. Where are you guys going? Stop. Come back.
Alright, well, that was a fun intro, and thank you guys for going along with it.
That's my audition reel. I'm moving to Hollywood.
You should. That was pretty good. No, I mean, hey, you're hosting today. This is a movie that me and George are just going to be commenting off whatever you're going to say. So, as far as I'm concerned, me and George really don't have an opinion.
Well, you
probably do.
You guys are allowed to have an opinion.
Sure, but it's not...
Review, but
I feel like there's a crowd, a certain gender... That's specifically me.
Well, I do fall within the female persuasion. So.
Yeah, so we're more excited. I mean, I did talk to my wife about it, and I was telling you guys, she had some interesting comments that I did not pick up on until I'm like, oh, that makes complete sense. Okay.
Yeah, there's probably a lot of stuff in here that if you're a guy, you've been a guy your whole life, you don't think about some of the littler things in here. Alright, everybody, so this movie is called Turning Red. It is a Pixar movie.
What's it about?
It is about female puberty. It is about the experience of being a little girl and your transition into womanhood and all of the weird and gross and exciting and emotional changes that come with that.
Though I do think boys also go through it. Not as extreme as girls, but we do have our own...
Boys
puberty adventures.
Have a lot of stuff. I think it would be harder to make this movie about males.
Oh yeah, no, for sure.
A lot more sensitive subject. I also think that it's about dang time we have a movie like this. I think we've been needing a movie like this for the last 6 decades. It's way overdue that we talk about and normalize these things instead of acting like it's a huge taboo. In most cultures, this is totally... Puberty is a normal, open thing that everyone talks about, and it's not a big deal, but for some reason in American culture, it's this huge taboo, and it's all secretive, and I think that it's time to end that. And this movie is the first step into that. This is the first step forward, and I'm really glad to see it. This is the sequel to Inside Out that I wanted.
How?
Inside Out ends, the last line in that movie is, oh, this button says puberty. What could go wrong? What could possibly go wrong? And then they push that button.
Okay.
Maybe they start to have more complicated adult emotions.
Oh.
So she starts feeling things like joy and sadness at the same time, which is a completely new emotion for an 11-year-old. And it takes you through that whole process. And then at the very end of the movie, then there's the next step of that is puberty. And I always assumed and wanted Pixar, because they make so many sequels, to make the sequel Riley going through puberty. They could have done it where they advertise Inside Out as a more mature movie and made it PG-13.
Yeah.
And they could have done it, but this was a safer way to do it.
Okay.
Make it a new franchise, make it its own thing.
Okay.
Yeah.
But I do think this is... I see what you're... I can see why it's rated PG. I don't know if... Some parents might not be ready to have that conversation with their little girls or boys about what that could be or what it looks like. So I kind of get why PG seems like a good rating for this movie.
So earlier we were talking about, I've been reading a lot of the reviews and parents talking online. There has been a bit of a backlash from the religious community and moms getting angry about this movie.
Yeah.
Promoting rebellion against your parents and things like that. I don't think that's at all what the movie was going for. The message is basically just be yourself and embrace these big emotions that are a part of you, while also getting along well with your parents and respecting them. That was the message that I got out of it.
Yeah.
And I don't think that if you put this on for your 5-year-old, your 6-year-old, your 3-year-old, they're not gonna pick up on any of the messages that you don't want them to pick up. They're not gonna absorb that. All they're gonna see is a big red panda. They're gonna think it's fluffy and cute. I mean, I don't know if you guys can remember being really young and watching a movie, but I didn't pick up on like any of it. I just saw cute animals or I heard fun music. But I mean,
yeah, I mean it's if I think even when I was a kid and all the innuendos and like all this stuff like about like things that were, it just kind of went over my head.
It goes over your head. And I remember I watched Jungle Book like 1,000 times as a kid. I never picked up on any of the subtleties or him becoming a man or him going off to meet the girl in the village. I never picked up on any of that. I just saw a bear and it was cute. Or a monkey, it was cute. And I don't think kids are going to really have a big issue watching this movie. If you have an 8, 9, 10-year-old, they're going to have some questions, and I think this is a really good way to get them start talking to you about those bigger questions.
Right. What's your rating?
I really liked it. I think it's a movie that's necessary, and I think the best thing this movie's going to do is spawn other movies like it and make it a normal part of society. I think we need that. I'd say it's probably a must-watch for like families with preteens. If you have like tweens,
it might actually help them with the oncoming puberty.
Oh yeah, definitely.
That could be hitting in a few years or whatever. I think it might be it's a good way to, might be like show the movie and then like certain scenes pause it and be like, this is what it's like.
Yeah.
But it's not scary, even though it looks scary. It could really, because there's how many stories have there been of like boys becoming teenagers and then suddenly having hormones and they're suddenly attracted to the opposite sex and all this stuff that's going on with them. I mean, there's billions of those movies just sitting around that you can watch. I can't believe, like you said, like for my review, I can't believe this is the first time we're getting a movie that finally deals with the female anatomy.
You have two types of coming of age movies for girls. You have the metaphorical ones like Little Mermaid or Sleeping Beauty. They're totally a metaphor and nothing is explicit, but you can get there if you think about it hard enough.
Yeah.
And then you have the nostalgia ones that are made for adults. So like Lady Bird, Edge of 17.
But again, that's not Disney. They're like adults.
Movies that explicitly talk about female puberty at this age, for this age.
Yeah.
And it's not nostalgic. I can think of a couple episodes of TV. Seventh Heaven did it in their first episode. There's a really good episode of The Roseanne Show that did it with Darlene. There's maybe a few like vampire stories that did it, but like mostly it's usually supernatural stuff and I think Degrassi did it a couple times. But anyway,
I think it's Degrassi.
Degrassi, it's like a show about high school from Canada from like the 80s or 90s.
Oh, okay.
So I think they might have
did they
done
cut grass?
No, it's just another high school show that a lot of people like.
Okay.
But it has been done on TV. I have not seen a movie about it done this well. Oh, you know what? My Girl did it.
We gotta move forward, but let me jump into my review. Okay, so a lot of the things in this movie are actually just completely fine. There's no issues with anything that happened that could... I was expecting something big to happen that would be like, oh, like this is way too much. This is like overboard. I mean, some people are saying that. Like,
I don't know what part they could possibly be that upset about.
I think they're just mad that it's talking about puberty for girls and what a period is. I feel like they
were saying that the message was, because I've been reading the message boards, they were saying that the message was that you should disrespect your parents.
Okay, that's where I was gonna go. Okay, first of all, I call BS on that and racism on it, honestly. I think what a lot of people are saying that there is a lot of like disrespect, but I'm like, have you watched The Little Mermaid? Have you guys never seen a Disney movie before?
Watch Finding Nemo, like any of
Watch Mulan! The girl literally becomes a dude and go fights war. Like, are you kidding me? Like, there's nothing here that Disney hasn't done before in other Disney movies.
I get so angry because all of those moms that are so mad about this movie grew up with Little Mermaid and Sleeping Beauty and whatever, and they all love those movies because they grew up with them. But when it's new, all of a sudden now we have to be all terrified of it and scared of it. I even saw people saying this was like part of the Illuminati and they're coming for your kids, and I was like, it is a children's movie about a panda. Can you guys just chill out?
Right. Yeah, that's basically what I was gonna say.
Yeah, I think that's one of the best parts of this movie is it shows the parents lots of times overthink it and get paranoid.
Absolutely.
And a lot of the parents watching that movie overthought it and got paranoid. You know? they followed exactly what is shown in the movie.
No, I mean, and they're not, how do you say this? It's a movie that should have been made probably 10 years ago.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Probably earlier.
Well, it was set in 2002. It should have been made in 2002.
Yeah, exactly. Like, I think a movie like this is great. I don't think there's anything here that is very adult. Guess what? Girls disobey their parents. When girls become teenagers, they sometimes rebel and don't want to listen to their mom or their parents. It is very normal. And if you're scared of that to show your daughter that, then you should hide her in a basement and not show her another movie ever again, because
which is
every Disney movie
they will do that.
Yes,
exactly
every kid in
don't
every
do that.
movie.
That's damaging to your children. Don't do that.
Right, like every kid in every movie is reflecting on every person who's making that movie, talking about them being kids and how their parents were horrible in some way, shape, or form because they didn't give them their freedom, even though the parents' point of view is, I was just trying to raise you and give you the best livelihood of life, but the kid's like, yeah, but you freaking traumatized me by telling me I can't do these things, so what did I end up doing? I ended up doing them anyway, behind your back. Just like this movie.
It is 100% what happens.
Yeah.
It is exactly what happens.
Stupid mom.
The over-sheltered kids who aren't allowed to do anything are the ones who rebel the hardest.
Yeah, and so what I liked about this movie was that it reflected on that period of life where you're just leaving. Oh, well, I didn't even mean to do that on purpose. That's the funny part. But it really is like where you think your mom or your parent is the hero and they do nothing wrong, and you're slowly moving towards the teenage aspect where you're kind of like, I don't really want to listen to my mom or dad or parents anymore, and I want to kind of,
well, and I thought the movie had a good balance between loving and respecting your parents, because she still does at the end of the movie.
She just wants to go to this concert.
She
wants to do things her mom probably is not okay with, but her mom is basically like, she doesn't need to get it. It's like, okay, she wants to go to a concert. Let her go to a concert. It's not, even if you disagree, you don't like the band, it doesn't matter. It's her interest. It's her life,
yeah,
right?
Exactly.
Like, as long as she's not doing drugs or alcohol or something crazy, like, it really is not any of your business about how she spends time with her friends at school or after school activities, as long as she's not breaking any crazy rules, going to school every day, trying to keep her grades up, all the normal things, then she should have a life that is outside of whatever her parents think is best. Yeah. There should be a balance of freedom in that, but also a balance of, like, not going too extreme in what they're doing.
And they do find that balance. I think that's the point that parents are missing, is that at the end of the movie, they agree on everything. Like, the parents agree on a certain set of guidelines for the daughter that makes everyone happy, and that's the goal of the movie. Right.
All right, George, I'm going to throw it over to you. Go see it. Okay, I think boys will, I forgot to add this part, boys will also get an understanding of something that boys, or like teenage boys, probably didn't know girls were going through. I think it's a great representation of what it means to be a woman, a girl going through this time period, and like it helps you kind of understand more of like the other gender and what, like their life and what it looks like. So, yeah, George.
Okay. This movie, I honestly, like, in regards to what I thought of it overall as a Pixar movie, I felt a little disappointed. Not because it wasn't absolutely needed and done well. It was done well. It was something we absolutely needed. I'm used to Pixar movies really, like, hitting me very deeply, and for me, since I didn't relate to it as much, I just didn't feel as much emotion about it. But that being said, this movie was absolutely amazing. I would have to say there were there were times in this where I'm just like, wow, like I could see my parent in that particular situation. I remember situations just like that as a kid, where you have helicopter parents that are just they're over there, they're trying to they think they're trying basically that they're protecting you, but really what they're doing is they're removing exposure of certain things.
Yes, good.
And that essentially it hurts in the long run because you will at some point be exposed to that, and you need to know about it.
Yeah.
So this movie did a very good job of portraying that you're gonna find out about it in some way at some point, and it would be better if your parents told you about it.
Right. Yes.
Instead of just finding out on your own, because who knows? You might not make the best choices just finding out on your own, and that was I think that was something that was brought up in this movie and really was an extremely good point.
Yeah.
I would also have to say I really liked the the role the dad played in it at certain points. The mom was definitely really concerned about her daughter all the time, was absolutely thinking of her, and like the daughter at one point, she's like, did you want to stay with dad and have a dinner? And like he got all excited, and she's like, no, of course not, I want to go with you, and then dad's like, oh, like he wanted to spend time with his wife, and she just shut it
like
down
that part.
completely.
Yeah.
And there were multiple moments like that. I love the kitchen scene where he's over there. I mean, he is like making what were those? They were like steam bun
the
things.
bow.
Yeah. And they he's over there. He's like it reminded me of an episode I don't know if you've seen, but it was one where there was an anime that had come out. It was on Netflix where this gangster guy, he ends up becoming a stay-at-home dad. I don't remember the name of it, but
Mr. Mom.
It basically and it fit that so perfectly. I mean, he's over there, just he's
that
over there
intro
just
is really
absolutely
funny,
killing it in the kitchen.
I forgot about that, but
Chef
it's like
dancing,
like
and
perfect ingredients and
just
really
doing the salt bay thing and everything.
Was
the
really
director
funny.
of this did the Pixar short Bow.
Right.
Yeah.
I remember.
Oh, yeah, that makes sense then. But yeah, it's and then a glasses steam up, and then you realize, it wasn't actually that they were steamed, or basically it was that they were steamed. It wasn't that he had shades on while he was doing it, which was really funny. But I really liked the way they portrayed the dad in this. That was great.
Sweet. So high recommendation for you?
Oh, absolutely.
Golden popcorn then.
Yes.
Yes.
Can I mention the scene at the very, very, very end?
No, probably not.
After credits.
Yeah.
There's
an
after credit scene.
Credit scene.
There's an after credit scene. There are 25 minutes of credits, so it's halfway in between. Go watch it. You'll love it. You'll love it.
Totally didn't see it.
It's hilarious. You'll probably just be rolling on the floor laughing.
Okay.
All right, so now we can head over to our spoiler review. But before that, you heard it from us. I think everybody, you will really enjoy this movie. I think it has a great message, and I think it's much needed for finally a message about, like you guys were saying, about girls and what they go through from becoming a girl to a teenager and all that stuff. But we definitely probably have more to talk about in our spoiler review. George, now that we're starting a spoiler, what's in the after credit scene?
Okay, so the after credit scene is it involves the dad.
Okay.
All right. The dad is in the basement. He is humming Four Town or whatever.
A-Town. Yeah.
Yeah. And he's over there. He has one of the sets of glasses on, but it wasn't the set that she had.
Okay.
So he's actually a fan of them as well, secretly.
Oh.
Okay. So yeah, it's really funny. It's really
wow!
funny.
I'm glad you sat through that because I didn't know there was an after credit
totally
scene.
Missed it.
Yeah,
right.
you guys will have to watch it because he even has I think he even has a little pennant or whatever.
Yeah.
From their
whatever concert. Yeah.
Oh,
I love the ending. I thought you said the ending was too much. I thought the ending was absolutely brilliant.
It was beautiful.
It was beautiful, but also like just the Godzilla aspect of the mom, like coming to the concert, and they're just kind of like hanging upside down,
Okay.
and, like with angel wings, and they're trapped.
There is something I want to state about this. In the movie, the soundtrack, absolutely amazing.
Good soundtrack.
For Town.
Okay.
Yeah. You know who wrote it?
I looked it up.
Yep.
It sounds terrible.
Okay.
Oh,
It sounds terrible on iTunes. They changed it. It's not the same as the movie soundtrack. They changed it. I don't know what they did, but it bothers me a lot with movies when people go and do that because I want to hear it the way it was in the movie. And that's what I love about East Side Story.
Yeah, West Side Story.
No,
West Side Story.
West Side
Okay.
Story.
That's what I love about West Side Story is that it's directly from the movie, pretty much. I think they
Did you guys see the
might have removed
documentary they just dropped on Disney
voice
Plus?
from some of it, but basically, it's like directly from the movie.
Okay.
There are so many Disney movies and other movies where they drop the soundtrack on iTunes or things like that, and it's different. It's not the same, and it sounds terrible. And I don't know why that is.
Do you know who wrote the music?
No.
Billie Eilish and her brother.
I did see that. I saw Billie
There's some
Eilish's
of them.
name.
Yeah, she wrote the pop band, boy band, for
That makes
Town
sense.
stuff.
She did?
Yeah.
Oh,
and
wow.
her brother is the singer for it.
Oh.
And yeah, they sounded really good. It was totally not the style she usually
Well, no,
does,
that's why how she won the Grammy, right? Like her and her brother, like made the music for her.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah.
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 And so
They're
that's
very
really fun.
talented.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, it's actually ridiculous how talented they are. Like, wow, holy
Yeah.
crap! Like, you know,
Go homeschoolers.
I mean, you're not wrong. They are homeschoolers. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
The other thing that I really love is like the mom. Like I was saying, like the concert scene is great, but what makes it really great is like the mom becomes this giant panda where the emotions are even more extreme, and it's like a woman turning into menopause, and like how extreme menopause is.
I didn't see it as menopause. I didn't get that. I thought that her turning into a giant Godzilla was too much. I think they went too far.
Oh, really? Because a lot of people online are saying, it's like, oh yeah, that's my mom. And she had menopause. She went completely, like, it was like, it's like period every day and it doesn't end. And it just goes and
Maybe.
goes.
I don't know.
So what they were saying was like, oh yeah, that was me. Like, I was having hot flashes for like a whole year. My temperature would go up and down. My emotions were just absolutely wild for years. Like menopause, like I was just reading these comments. I'm like, oh my god, I didn't even realize how crazy. It's like I'm reading these stories and I'm like, okay,
maybe that is what they were trying to say.
Right, like they're trying to, but at the same time they're also saying like the panda is a representation. Like you can't separate being a woman or a girl without the panda, meaning period and menopause. And the little girl's saying, like, I don't want to get rid of the panda because the panda is me. And I, like, sure, like, I have high emotions and I can't control myself. But, like, it's also a representation. And I think it's really brilliant. It's like, you know how they say, like, oh, if you're on your period, like, you can't say this at work. You can't do this. Or, like, you can't cry at work. Like, you can't talk about your cramps and you can't talk about all this stuff. And it's like the movie's kind of, like, representing, it's like, a woman shouldn't have to hide. Yeah, like if a woman is going through it, like let her have the experience and have like grace for her and give her the time to like don't just tell her, go hide in the corner and like don't talk about your emotions.
Well, here's the thing.
You know,
here's the thing because the dad lays it out for us and he said your mom's panda was really destructive. And not a good thing. It wasn't healthy for her. It wasn't healthy for the family. So she had to learn how to control it.
But that's the healthy thing. It's like
right.
Learn, and the little girl's like, I'm gonna learn to control it. Like meaning like I'll go through.
The girl's wasn't destructive. The girl's part of her personality that was coming out because of all these new hormones and stuff was fun and upbeat and exciting. It wasn't there was some anger issues and stuff like that. But yeah, you're right. She learns how to control it, but keep the aspects that she likes.
Like when the girl was going through it, it's like they don't have to run away. They don't have to act. And like they can release their emotions and feelings of what it feels like. Mm-hmm. You don't have to pretend it's not there. And that's what a lot of girls do growing up is like, I don't want to talk about my period. I'm on my period, but I can't say anything. And it's always sort of kind of like you can talk about it with other girls, but you can't.
It's a big taboo. It's shameful, and you're not.
Right.
Yeah.
And it shouldn't be that way because,
no, it shouldn't.
like, it should be like, hey, like, guys, like, back off. Like, she's going through something tough. Instead of, like, telling her to shut up and don't talk about it, how about we just, like, we can helpfully, like, hey, like, I need a minute. Like, I have cramps. I need a minute.
Right.
I'm going to cry for no freaking reason. Like, right? Like, whatever you're going through. And the guys can, or your boss, or men, or whatever, or society, fathers, brothers, bosses, whatever, it doesn't matter. They can be like, oh yeah, I understand. Like, let us know if you need anything, and like it's it's all good. Like, you know, we can find a middle ground. We don't need to talk about all the aspects of what it means to have a period,
right?
And we don't need to have a conversation where it's like we're forcing, but there has to be a healthy balance in these conversations that are not taking place. And that's what this movie is trying to say a lot of the times. And the, you know, like even the mom's mom, right? Like she's like, oh, like I thought you'd be better at teaching your daughter, like, remember this and like how bad it was. And like the father's like you were saying, like the father's like, you know, there's so many sides to your mom. Your mom is not just this one person.
Right.
The other version of your mom is she fought for me and wanted to marry me.
Yeah.
But you don't know that side of her. And it's like kind of like all the emotions and feelings of being a woman, a mom, a wife, a girl. There's so many aspects of who you are as a person. There's so many sides of you that are not shown in like one aspect, and you only judge somebody. Like, I'm sure I've done it. I probably looked at my mom with just one side. I never pictured my mom being a girl or a teenager or a young woman or whatever. And I'm sure there's many aspects to my mother that I don't know about. And I don't think a movie has a really delve into those ideas of what it means to be a parent or be a mom, right?
Yeah.
And I think that's really, like, even the, like you were saying, like the father, if you didn't know, if they didn't show the scene about how interested he is in making the food, you wouldn't think like he was super into making dinner. And like, but the movie shows like just because he's quiet and sits there quietly doesn't mean there's other aspects of him being a man or a father that is not present. This movie delves into very many stages of what it means to be a person, and I think that's really fascinating. Even her friends, it's like, for example, she's like, my friends never said this, it was actually me. But when the mom attacks her friends at the party, Tyler's party, birthday party, like she doesn't say anything, but she's like, that's wrong, like they didn't do anything wrong. It was me who wanted that, and it was me. And she has to like reflect on that and like go back to her friends and say, I'm sorry, I didn't stand up for you guys, you're right, like this was also me. But like her mom doesn't know her friends or who they really are. She's just looking at them like from her point of view. So there's a lot deep metaphors, allegory, and like things happening in this movie. That's why I told Stephanie, like, this movie is really deep for a dumb comedy about turning into a panda. This movie is doing so. I mean, like that ending where they're sitting in the forest and she sees her mom as a little girl and she's like, why are you crying? It's like, my mom wants me to do this and she wants me to be perfect and I can't do it. Like, holy crap. Like,
that was the best scene in the movie.
You think so?
Oh yeah, that was great.
I like the part where like she's a giant panda and they're trying to drag her into the circle.
See, I thought that went too far.
I got the I got the aspect of what it probably would be to, because like, you know, what is it called? Like somebody close to me talking about their mom, who I won't mention because of personal reasons, said like my mom really needed help. When she was going through menopause, she could not do it, and she actually, like, you're like a giant panda just on the ground, and like everybody has to kind of drag you and like really metaphysically like go through and help you to get through it. And I thought that was like really fascinating. I was like, wow, okay, like this thing can get really tough for some people. It's like, yeah, my mom did not handle that period of menopause in her life. And we had to give extra grace to her. Yeah. Because if we didn't, we would just think she's a psychopath and just I don't know, divorce her, leave her, stop talking to her. But until she opened up, we didn't know what she was going through, and we're like, oh wow, like she's literally in pain and she's suffering here.
Yeah.
And that's kind of like what that scene of them like even the little girl, she's like, my mom's great. Oh wait, my mom needs help. My mom's a giant panda right now, and she needs help. We need to grab her and like pull her into the circle. You know, I don't know. This movie just has a lot going on. I don't know if Pixar is ever gonna make another movie like this ever again. I think
hope this is the beginning of them making more movies like this.
I don't think so. I think this movie is gonna push them with all the controversy. Maybe I'm wrong. I don't know. We'll see what the numbers are and reflect on it a year from now. But right now, with Disney does not like controversy. If you have learned one thing,
they do not.
Disney does not. Even if the message is good, the controversy part is something they do not want any part of in that company.
No.
So that's why I think it's kind of bad. They tried it. They gave it a go. I don't know what that's gonna do for the run, but right now, like this outpouring, like where moms are saying they don't want their kids to see the movie, is not something the Disney, higher ups like CEOs and CFOs are sitting there going board meetings, and they're probably being like, yeah, no, we can't do that again. You know, so really reflect on that. Like really sit on that for a second, because this movie is really deep, and it's poking the bear or a panda. Poking the panda about like what it could mean, and really put your voice out there and hurt like we want. We talk about this a lot. Anime, Japanese. Mm-hmm. What is the one thing Japanese anime do that Disney and America won't do, which is talk about certain things, go really dark at times emotionally.
Disney does that kind of stuff in metaphor, like in beauty movies. They don't
because
do it in...
America, it needs to be hold hands and petted and act like there's
change the ends of the fairy tales to make them happy.
Kids are watching anime. Your kids are watching anime.
Yeah.
I'm telling you right now, no matter what you think,
I hope
your
they're
kids
watching
are
anime.
They are. Right. Of course they are.
Be, yeah.
Who just
amazing.
because you're not watching anime with them, they might be watching it on their phone or on their whatever computer maybe when you're not watching. But I'm telling you, when you're not looking, like I watched a lot of anime growing up for that reason. Yeah, like kids are watching more adult animated films from Japan and other places. You might not be aware of it. I mean, but it's not... somebody said this really well. I just read this review the other day. What did this say? This said kids should not be afraid to experience something that you can't pretend like you can like hide things from the world. The kids are smarter than you think. Like you can't really hide what is out there as much as you think you can. Like sure, if they're 3, probably should. But when they're, like above the age of 8 or 9, they're experiencing things that are way more adult and feeling those emotions, whether they hear it from school or just being out in the world, or just they're gonna see it. And you pretending it doesn't exist isn't helping your child. Like somebody was making that reflect. I was like, that's so true. And as much as I'm glad you guys were homeschooled, I also think there's a part of it where it's like parents are too afraid to let their kids go out into the world and make mistakes.
Oh, that was a huge problem being homeschooled.
Yeah.
We weren't allowed. We were way too sheltered.
Yeah, too sheltered.
Too sheltered. And that wasn't a homeschool thing. It was my parent thing, but
right.
But that's every homeschool parent's thing. That is
kind of the world.
That's kind of the problem.
It's getting better.
I
pretty
hope
much.
So.
It is very drastically a homeschool thing.
It does tend to be a religious parent homeschool thing.
Yes.
Stop over sheltering your kids. They're gonna experience the world.
They're gonna experience it. It's better if you at least show them, because it's once again it's a thing of they're going to experience it one way or another. If you can show them
how to handle it healthy,
at least that way they can see your input on it.
Yes, exactly. And the younger they are, the more input you're going to have, the more influence you're going to have, the better tools you can give them. If you wait until they're 17, they're not going to hear a thing you have to say. It's too late.
Yep.
All right. Well, on that note, would you guys... I think I'm done. Is there any other last message you want to share about the movie that I didn't think about? Feel like we got everything.
I can't think of anything offhand.
Please support this movie. Go
Yes.
play it on Disney Plus a couple of times. Make sure that it gets some views so that Pixar keeps making more movies like it.
The only thing I can think of that I might have said was that basically, like, yeah, this... I have a feeling, as you said, it'll be hard for Pixar just because, like, literally, this is like probably the first movie they've done that's like pointing at the parents and saying, "Look, this is wrong when you do this." This is the first movie that's calling out parents.
Yes.
So I feel like yes, there will be a lot of controversy. There will be a lot of angry parents. It's still something they need to hear, and. Despite Disney's protocols on avoiding controversy, it's something that needed to be said. So I'm glad that Pixar did it because they're a company that can take some flack like that. Yeah. So yeah.
All right, well, guys, thank you so much for joining us. Let us know your thoughts on Pixar's
Turning Red.
Absolutely, and we'll catch you guys next time. Take care. Bye-bye. We're slowly getting back into our movie extravaganza, and we got a really great holiday movie for everyone in the family. I think this is if I right now were to say like which movie for families to go see this holiday season, this would probably be it. I don't know about you.
No, I agree. This is probably the best family movie you're gonna see this year.
Yeah, like, okay, so the music is great.
Yep.
I'm always coming into these Disney movies, I'm like, the music just needs to be stellar if you're gonna do it. And there was maybe one song that I didn't particularly like. I think it was the opening song. I don't think I loved the opening song, but every song after that was just getting better and better, in my opinion. That's how I felt about it.
It was, there was some good music.
I think it's the guy from In the Heights and Hamilton who did this.
Yep,
Lin-Manuel Miranda.
Yep.
He also did Moana, which I think I liked Moana when I saw it. It was a while ago.
It was good at the time. Now we're getting spoiled with better and better movies.
It really does feel like that, doesn't it? I feel like we're just getting spoiled to a point where, like, I'm just waiting to be disappointed by one of these big movies, but it hasn't happened yet. But anyways, welcome to our review. This is George. I'm Fahad. Shannon's on a little bit of a break here. She's heading to Georgia with some family situation, but she'll be back soon, and we promise we'll do a spoiler review with her. But this is our non-spoiler review. I don't really think like we really need to do a spoiler review, but it'll be fun to do it because we like talking movies. So eventually we'll do it with Shannon, I feel like.
Yep.
George, how about you go first? Tell us your thoughts on this movie.
Well, I honestly, when I saw the short before the film, because that's how Disney likes to do their movies. They have a little, at least their Pixar films, they have a little short beforehand. Oh my goodness, I was almost in tears just for the short. And
I missed the beginning of the short. I was like, what's going on?
Oh, yeah. No, the short is amazing. The short is absolutely amazing.
Okay.
Yeah, I was all teary-eyed and everything. And so then the movie started. This movie is absolutely phenomenal. I would have to say it really, really like portrays some of the different aspects of family life that you don't really think about a whole lot, because family is family, and Vin Diesel.
Family.
Yeah. But this is a different side of family that I think is really good for people to see. And it was utterly amazing, absolutely beautiful. All of the shots that they did in it were just fantastic.
Kind of want the album.
Yeah, you said something about that they refilmed this in Dolby.
So a little bit of a thing. This Dolby, it's what I noticed the first time we saw Frozen 2, not Frozen 1. Sorry.
Well, I know, but you meant I was talking the movie itself.
Yeah, they did use specific color correction with like high contrast for Dolby. I didn't notice it
I mean, I think I would have noticed it if we were at AMC, the other AMC that we usually go to. Something about this, it doesn't really matter. Just something about this Dolby is like, it feels like a fake Dolby to me whenever we watch something here. It doesn't really feel like it's...
It's an IMAX Dolby.
It's, I mean...
I had to do it.
I love IMAX. I mean, the sound is always good in IMAX, because in Dolby I feel like it's too loud, while in IMAX I feel like it kind of finds that nice niche balance. But this did feel like more of like IMAX sound than like Dolby sound. I didn't.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe like 1 second I felt the seats shake, or like maybe one or twice.
I felt it a few times, but it was that's the other thing. This movie is phenomenal in Dolby because you feel like you're in
an earthquake.
the Encanto, like in their house. Like it's that part's utterly amazing.
Yeah, what I was gonna say was when the house was shaking and my seat was shaking, I feel like I really need to see this in, like, I think I'm gonna go again and see it like I did with Frozen 2. I'm gonna go back and go to our other local AMC 30, because honestly, this movie deserves to be seen twice as far as I'm concerned. This is the type of movie you want to gather all your close like family members during the holidays and really go out and just everyone's just gonna really I feel like this is kind of the movie you're looking for during the holiday season.
Absolutely.
Yeah, but I there were parts where I was literally having like a 10-minute laugh-a-thon.
Yeah,
and
I definitely heard that.
There was like this guy who randomly shows up. It's kind of spoilers. Here's the thing about this movie. They're really trying to play into, I don't know the culture, some kind of South American, I feel like. And whatever the story is, Disney's really good at this. They take different like legends, myths, fairy tales from different cultures, and they just kind of Disneyfy it.
Sort of like with Moana.
Frozen was what was Frozen? Norway?
Yeah,
I
believe
like
so. Norway or Sweden, I don't remember which.
Yeah, I can't remember either. But you know, when they do it in a very like respectful way, but also they kind of throw in the Disney formula onto it to make it more kid friendly. If you want to Google to see what the true story is,
I'm actually curious because I remember it wasn't. I remember hearing it wasn't anywhere as
bloody,
bright as
yeah. It's kind of like, okay, we're not gonna obviously do that. What we're gonna do is make it a really good culturally, like, for these people in this town who grew up with this, and give it more of like that fairy tale-esque thing, and it works. There's absolutely, like, I love the message that this movie is portraying to the girls, to the family in general, and like what it costs to, like, what would happen if everyone in the family if you saw the trailers, you already know this. So the story is like this one girl who gets born, she has no magical powers, but everybody else in the family has some form of magic. And what that does in this story is really like, wow, like I was like, okay, that's where this is going. There's a minute in like the first 20 minutes. When you see it, you'll know there's this little boy who gets magic, and like there's this song that plays right after that. And that, when I was like, oh, like that's not what the trailer was showing. The trailer was more like she needs to save magic. And like, but nobody else believes her because they're all magical. Well, I don't know. It just, there was no more heart. There was not like a human story to the context of what's going on in the trailer. What this movie does with that is brilliant, I feel like. And where it goes, there's some really good surprises. Like I was saying, like there's a person that shows up halfway into the movie that completely, in my opinion, steals the show. He's great. And the music is great, and the colors are great, and I think I cried a good 2-3 times throughout that movie, in the best way possible. Even if my like bitter old self can watch a kids movie and tear up, I mean, you're doing something right. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Like, this movie is not me. I am not their target audience, and I'm 100% like loving the heck out of this movie. Yeah, I don't know what else to say. I loved it. What about you? Do you have anything else to add?
I thought it was absolutely phenomenal. I really thought I was going to go into this and just be like, wow, not relatable at all. But no. No, I just... It was
not
phenomenal.
we're
not the target audience, but
yeah,
it was still very relatable.
Like, I really can't say enough good things about it. I'm genuinely shocked how much I liked this movie.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I don't know. I'm talking too much. Go ahead.
And so, because of that, go watch it in theaters.
Is that it? That's your review?
It.
All right,
That's
thanks.
it. This was the non-spoiler.
All right, guys. If you've been watching, you know that Shannon wasn't with us. Me and George, of course, we got a chance to see Encanto. I saw it twice now and love it even more. But Shannon, of course, you were in Georgia.
Georgia, yeah.
Dropping off your grandparents?
Family emergency. Dropped some people off. Drove
How
back.
they doing? Are they okay?
They're doing great. Yeah,
Oh, okay.
Everybody's fine now. It was just
Crazy situation.
Drive down to Georgia, get back up here, but everybody's good now.
Oh, that's good. So, well, you did see Encanto with your boyfriend Rob. What did you guys think?
Oh, we thought it was adorable. We loved it. It was
Give us your review.
super cute. This movie is just really cute. It's definitely up there with other Disney movies like Beauty and the Beast and Lion King and Moana and stuff like that. I do think I'm gonna like it better on the second viewing. My major takeaway with this movie is the colors were incredible to look at. I want to go stay in a Disney resort that looks like this.
Oh, like the house and stuff?
Yeah, they're totally going to turn this into a resort somewhere.
And somewhere in Disney World or
Somewhere
Okay.
in Disney World or Disneyland, or maybe this was supposed to be in Mexico, so maybe in Mexico maybe they're going to open up a resort or something like that. Because that's what they did with Moana. Like they
Oh, really?
made a movie
I didn't know that.
Oh yeah, they made a movie in Hawaii. And
Wait,
then
did they do that with Zootopia?
Where are they going to open up a Zootopia resort?
Why
would be
not?
so cool.
I don't care.
I would go to that. I would totally go to that.
That
like
would
a
be kinda
zoo
fun.
and Disney in one.
Oh,
Oh
yeah.
my goodness,
Maybe
yes.
like Animal Kingdom. They'd have to
Why not?
have giant hamster balls that you can run in. That would be fun.
I'm gonna be honest with you. Zootopia is my favorite Disney movie in the last decade.
You really loved that movie. I remember seeing it with
It was
you.
phenomenal.
It's
It was
phenomenal.
It was really good.
The story is so on point. It talks about, like West Side Story, it talks about racism, society, culture, you know, where you judge people just by their look or what they think, what you think they are like.
Cute. It was cute. It was good.
Anyways,
the
but,
bunny population was hilarious.
Yeah, right?
Oh my goodness. That was one of the best scenes.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
But what so yeah, you liked it.
My favorite scene in Encanto was when they open up the little boy. What's his name? The little boy. The little boy, when he opens up his room and it's like this jungle full of animals and it's bigger on the inside.
Yeah, I saw the Doctor Who
Oh, that was funny.
comment.
But just, I wanted to go inside that world. It was so cool.
Well, you did.
It was just so cool.
Yeah.
I want to talk to the animals and swing around and have a jungle themed party. They're gonna have jungle themed parties at Animal Kingdom Disney World for this movie.
Yeah, I was gonna say before that time, I just thought the movie was okay. I didn't think it was gonna be great. But then right after he opens the door,
It's great.
and the grandma's like, "Let's take a picture together," and she starts singing, like, "You don't think I'm special? Nobody sees me. Why am I so different?" And that song is playing while like the camera's going off.
Yeah.
I was like, "Oh shoot!"
Yeah.
Like, oh,
I think
oh.
it's gonna be good.
They didn't even check to see if she was in it.
Yeah.
They didn't even ask her to like, hey, come over here,
Yeah.
anything. They just were like, let's have a special family photo.
And I think
yeah.
having that come out during Thanksgiving, where some family members maybe feel like they got left out or don't get as much attention, I think Encanto did come out at the perfect holiday time.
Yeah.
Because Frozen was like about sisters, right?
Oh,
And it
yes.
came out during Thanksgiving, Christmas also.
Yeah.
And I feel like with this movie is about family and not being left behind in your family. And I thought that was really just fantastic. And I love that Bruno, like the thing that really, Stephanie, my wife, she said when I watched it with her, she said Bruno making the plates and sorry, we're going into spoilers. I'm not even gonna hide it. Just Yes. Sorry. But the plates and spoons that Bruno has behind the door.
Yeah.
And he's like made this fake thing to be part of the family.
Oh, that's so sad.
And she sees that, and then she's like, it's like, I hope you're able to go home. And then she says, when I fix this, you're coming home too.
Oh.
And I really felt that moment. There were a lot of moments, even with the sisters. One was like really strong. That song with the donkeys. Oh my god.
Yeah, yeah.
Trip. And then the song with, of course, Bruno. We don't talk about Bruno.
No.
It's really good. And then right before, like, the guy who's coming over to propose to her sister, and the father comes in and sees like all the pieces that she found with the glass and stuff, and then like she's like, it's okay, we can get through this. If we don't say anything and nobody heard anything, we're gonna be okay. And then the door slowly opens and her sister's on the other side who can hear everything. It's like, and the father's like, oh no. And then he's like, I heard everything. And then she's like, she's gonna tell everyone. And then George was sitting next to me. The scene at the table where she's just staring at her. Well, like I was crying laughing.
Oh, yeah,
I was crying laughing at that scene because it was so darn freaking perfect. Like, there was joke, there was emotion, and man, and the ending really hits home. I really appreciated the song with the grandma explaining why she is the way she is and what she went through I thought that song was brilliant because it really showed why she's trying so freaking hard to make everything perfect, and she can't lose anymore. She lost her husband, and she can't lose anything else.
Right.
And it's her way of like having control. But in the sense of having that control, the pain that she feels of her young love dying was hurting the family, and she couldn't see it. She thought she was doing everything right, keeping the pieces together to keep this family safe, and doing so, she was hurting everybody.
Yeah.
Good Lord Almighty! And this was a Disney movie, folks.
Yeah.
Like, what in the world? Like, that's where it went. Come on.
It almost felt like Pixar.
Yes.
It was so deep.
It is good to see Disney back in full force. Like, they had some movies that were duds for a while, and the last couple of years, Disney is just like back. They're back.
I'm trying to think. The song with the camera is amazing. The song with the sister with the donkeys is amazing. The song with Bruno is really good. The song with Grandma just singing in Spanish. A lot like this movie. They just don't have subtitles. They're just kind of like, this is authentic. I think were they speaking Spanish?
There's a lot of Spanish, yeah.
There was
okay. I'm like, I hope I'm saying that right.
I feel like I'm getting a Spanish lesson between Encanto and West Side Story.
I mean, not just Encanto and West Side. We also got In the Heights.
In the Heights was a lot of good Spanish lessons.
It is really interesting. We're getting a lot more movies kind of focused on Mexican, Spanish, South America, kind of like,
and like
in 1 year.
Most of them are Lin-Manuel Miranda movies.
Oh, you're right.
Yeah.
He did this. Okay.
Moana. He did Encanto. He did In the Heights. He did Hamilton. He did a bunch of those.
Do you remember what you said to me about because I said I hated the songs in Frozen, and you said you have to listen to it again, Fahad.
Yeah.
They're not meant to be listened. I'm telling you, you have to listen to the songs again in Encanto. I'm giving you your own message that you gave me 3 years ago.
I did say that the songs need to be listened to more than once. And I was saying at the beginning, I do think I will like this better on the second viewing. Yeah. I think I missed some stuff because it's a pretty complicated plot and there's a lot of twists and turns to the story, and I got up a couple times, and I think that I will like it better on the second viewing.
Absolutely.
I almost always like Disney movies better on the second viewing.
Encanto, even for me, like, because Stephanie wanted to see it too.
Yeah.
So we got to go Thanksgiving weekend, and I liked the movie with George, but the second time I was like, I love this movie. Yeah. I picked up all the little pieces where all the songs are going, and how incorporated to the ending, and it really is a movie that does work better in the second viewing, and the music also gets better second viewing. Because you were the one who told me, it's like, Fahad, like, I didn't like the music in Frozen 1 as much as I did later on when I heard it again and watched it again. Yeah. So I would say I think that's just what the issue is. Disney makes movies to have
The
a rewatch
rewatch, yeah.
ability, right?
Oh yeah, for
And
sure.
I think there was only one song in Frozen 2 I actually didn't like.
Oh, I loved the Frozen
Which
2
one?
soundtrack was great.
The Next Best Thing. That was the only song.
What was that about?
The
exactly.
next
No.
right, the next right thing.
The
yeah.
Next Right Thing.
I only know because I've listened to that soundtrack about 5,000 times.
That song was the only song
'Cause
in
it
that
was sad
soundtrack
and
I totally
depressing.
could have done without. It wasn't even. It didn't even like really rhyme.
No,
It
it was
was-
pretty
it was
sad
sad.
and depressing.
I
I
think-
want Frozen 3. When's that coming out?
Oh,
Yeah, I was gonna
hopefully.
ask, are they still making Frozen 3? What's
I
going on?
hope so, because I want one.
No, there you go.
They better hurry up with it. Otherwise, it'll be like The Incredibles 2, where the voice actors are way older and you can tell through the voice.
Yeah.
I don't know if you noticed that, but during Incredibles 2,
Yeah,
that
you
was
can tell.
that was kind of an issue.
Oh,
When
yeah,
the
'cause they
dad
waited
sounded
20
like he
years.
was
They
like
should've
20
upped
years
the-
older,
they
and you're
should've
just like,
aged, 'cause
Oh, I
wait
did
a
not
minute.
actually. I wasn't that focused on the voice though from the father. But he is pretty old now. You're right.
That was
John
was the
Goodman,
problem. I
yeah.
had was
Coach
Or John
sitcom.
Candy or John Goodman? Yeah.
it was almost
yeah.
like when they had James Earl Jones doing the voice of Mufasa for the live action Lion King,
yeah,
and it was
yeah.
James Earl Jones has an amazing voice,
Yeah.
but at
At his
that
age,
point,
yeah.
at that age, you can tell
He doesn't have
that
the same
they're that
pipes.
age.
Yeah.
That's the problem.
Oh, yeah.
So
That booming James Earl Jones voice is really I thought of, you know who I thought of when we watched French Dispatch.
Oh, yeah.
I can't say enough how much I love Jeffrey Wright, because we were talking about it too. Jeffrey
that would have
Wright,
been amazing.
like
if
I
they had Jeffrey Wright as Mufasa.
I mean, yeah, because like Morgan Freeman and even James Earl Jones, they're getting to a point where they can't keep doing those amazing narrations and voice. I think Jeffrey Wright is like in that prime zone to just
Absolutely.
narrate and like have that voice now, in the next generation or whatever. So I don't know. Yeah, they could have replaced James Earl Jones. I don't know why they didn't with somebody like Jeffrey Wright, but I don't know. It is what it is. Anyways, Encanto was great. I think it's gonna be my favorite animated.
Yeah.
It's gonna be my favorite animated movie of the year.
What
Hold
other
on.
animated movies came out this year?
We got Mitchell's versus the Machines.
That one was cute,
We
but I'll
have
probably
Raya
never
and
watch
the
it
Last
again.
Dragon.
Ryan the Last, which is probably in my
It's alright.
lowest. Is that
It's
dog
okay.
by himself? Oh no, there's a person. He's black. He's really just wearing a black sweatshirt. I'm like, no,
Oh,
the
yeah,
puppy's
yeah.
alone. I have to save that
No,
puppy.
he's fine.
We had Raya, Mitchell's versus the Machines. What else do we have? I feel like we're missing two big ones we saw.
I know, me too.
Oh my gosh. Was there a Pixar movie this year that we saw?
I don't think
Soul was. Oh, Luca.
Soul,
Luca
Luca.
That was
Luca.
2020.
Luca, yeah, Luca was.
Luca, which
I
it was,
thought Luca
okay.
was
it was
this year.
good.
Also
No,
had
it
a Bruno
was.
in it.
Okay.
I think that's it. Raya, Luca, Mitchell versus the Machines, and now
Soul was last year, yeah.
to
Soul was
2020's
last
December.
year.
Yep, I remember I saw it on Christmas last year
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
because they dropped it on Disney Plus for Christmas, and so it was 20.
Right.
And it won best animated film at the Oscars this
Hey,
year. So
Speaking of Frozen, did you remember the scene in Frozen 2 where Olaf explains the plot of the first movie?
I've seen those, yes.
Have you seen that Olaf now has a whole show where he explains the plot of Disney movies?
I
Wait,
wish it was
what?
a little
Yes!
better.
It's called Olaf Explains. It's on Disney Plus.
really,
I started watching it.
that's funny.
I didn't make it
Oh,
past the
I
second
haven't
episode
watched it
because
yet.
it was.
It was bad.
It's not as good.
Oh.
It's nowhere as good. I hate to say it. I was really
Too
looking
bad.
forward to it, but they just.
That was the
He
funniest
does-
thing in Frozen 2.
So he sums up movies
Our parents
in
are
that
dead.
style. The first
remember?
one he does is Little Mermaid. So I mean, obviously, I'm already disconnected from that because I never watched it.
Oh, Little Mermaid.
But
What was the
Then-
second episode?
I can't even remember.
Okay.
I think I started watching it and I'm just like, nope, and turned it off.
You're like, I'm out.
Yeah.
Remember, like, little
It was
Olaf,
like
though? He's
Cowboy Bebop. I watched like 5 minutes and I'm out.
We're gonna see our parents.
Not the
Parents
anime.
are dead.
No,
Okay.
not the anime. No,
Don't
the
do that to me.
There's a
the
live
live
action
action.
show now.
No, the live
series
I'm,
version.
they canceled it.
I watched like 5 minutes and I'm just like,
Couldn't do
nope,
it.
Yep.
can't do this.
Yep, it got canceled in 1 week. By the
Yeah,
way,
I knew
Lost
that
in
was
Space
happening.
season 3 is out, and I'm Loving
It's so good. I'm loving season 3.
I'm only
of
on
Lost in
episode 2,
Space.
so don't spoil it. But,
I didn't even know it was out. How come it didn't come out and notify me?
It did for
It
me.
told me.
It did for me.
Netflix
Yeah.
notifies me of like everything.
That's weird.
That's on my watch list, and it didn't notify me
I'm
that I
so
recall.
bummed they're canceling Lost in Space.
No, they're not.
But-
They announced season 4.
What?
Yep.
Oh, I thought they canceled it.
No, they
Oh, I'm so excited.
they
Good,
they
that's
were
a great
going to.
show.
I hear the ending is like another leaves you hanging.
Oh, thank
Oh,
goodness.
okay. I don't know.
So they're
goodness.
obviously, but I mean, like I watched the first 2 episodes and I couldn't stop crying. I'm like, I gotta turn this off.
Oh, it's great.
It's like no, I mean, I need a break because it
Right.
was, it like there's so many
So
emotional
emotional.
moments in Lost in Space where I was like,
Every
it's kind of like West
episode
Side. It's
that
like
is-
okay, I need to just go breathe now. I'm good.
Yeah.
Yeah,
you
I
know.
did have to pause it for a minute and go watch like Always Sunny or something to just make me laugh.
Especially the first episode, the mom and dad episode. In the first episode, I was just like, oh,
They're so cute
I
together.
know.
Those, I don't know who
Alright, well, I
plays
haven't
the
seen
dad.
any of it, so don't tell me. Don't
Well,
tell me.
you remember at the, okay, I won't spoil anything,
I
but do you
remember
remember?
the one with the daughter and the dad. Was it kind of like that, but it was with the mom?
No,
and the-
that's not what I'm talking about.
Oh,
Do you remember the ending where like they tell the kids they have to separate and go on a separate
And
ship,
Judy
and
takes the
hopefully-
kids.
and then Judy
Oh,
takes
yeah.
the kids. So the entire first episode is about them dealing with separation
for a
issues,
year.
and it's oh my god,
Oh,
my
They're amazing.
heart.
Those actors really they pull it
Oh,
off.
they're perfectly
Yeah.
casted.
I might
They're
have to wait
perfectly-
till like next week to watch that after watching West Side Story.
I know you might need some
'Cause, like,
time.
yeah,
for
no.
that.
This was a lot of emotion.
details.
I mean,
One
we're gonna
One
cry
night.
in Spider-Man. Just be prepared.
I'm not gonna
I-
cry in Spider-Man.
What are they gonna do?
You
to make
don't
us
know
cry in
that.
I
Spider-Man?
do know that.
No, you don't.
Oh, can we do Spider-Man predictions? What do we think's gonna happen? in
We did.
Spider-Man?
Remember, I made a list.
What do you think? Do we think they're gonna kill us and die?
No, we made an entire list about
Yeah,
percentages.
we did, didn't we?
Mm-hmm.
Oh, yeah,
I'm
that's
gonna.
right, we
I'm
did.
gonna. By the way, do you remember Chad Carson from Avondale?
Maybe. sounds
Okay, he
familiar.
has his own podcast.
Oh, okay.
He graduated in 2005 with me, but
Oh, I didn't.
Oh, okay, okay.
2006.
he's gonna be on our show on Friday. He's
Sweet.
seeing the movie with us. So I was thinking, I don't know how this is gonna work, but since we have 4 people after Spider-Man, George, maybe we'll put Chad in the front seat. Is there a way you
And
guys
George
can
on
both?
Chad's lap.
I hope not. Poor Chad. He's like, oh, this is not what I signed up for when I decided to do Spider-Man review with you guys. But can you both fit and be able to look at the camera back there, or should I not do that?
We want to film at my house. We have more room.
We could try. Yeah,
We'd be more comfortable.
I mean, what
That
time
might
is the
work.
show? Do you remember what time we got the tickets for? 6:30.
It's a Friday, so it doesn't matter
True.
to me at least.
But let's wrap the video up and then.
Okay.
figure it
Well,
out.
anyways, let's close this off. All right, guys. If you've seen Encanto, tell us why it's not amazing, and if you do, tell
think
us
it-
why you're wrong.
I think it was 6:30. Huh?
6:30. Okay, yeah, that should be fine. We should be able to, because we can run over from AMC 30. I think 15 minutes. That should be done. Yeah. Anyways, I gotta finish this ending. All right, guys. Thank you for checking out our review. Shannon, you got to see Encanto,
Mm-hmm.
and you liked it.
Yeah, it was great.
And the music's gonna grow on you. I can guarantee
I think it will. Yeah.